Hey everybody, this is Chris Sev with Better Dev. Today is a fantastic day because the Tailwind team has released a new tool called Headless UI. And basically this is React and Vue support. Well, this is React and Vue support in Tailwind UI, but Tailwind CSS has traditionally said, I am going to help you out with your CSS and making sure that your apps look fantastic, right? But as we have started building out applications with Tailwind, we start to see that, you know what, when we start building out larger scale applications like nav bars and things like that, we are going to need JavaScript. And even the Tailwind UI docs right here, it says, hey, we require JavaScript for stuff like this dropdown right here. But Tailwind has traditionally said, you know what, I'm just going to help you with styling. So what has the team done to help us get a little bit better at our JavaScript? They've released a package called Headless UI that we can install in our React apps and our Vue apps. And it is going to give us all of the JavaScript that we need and still give us the flexibility to style out our applications using Tailwind. So what I wanted to do, it just released today. Fantastic new tool. Robin on the Tailwind team has been working on this for a long time, and it is awesome to see it released. Let's give it a shot. So headlessui.dev is right here. Please check it out. Add it to your React Vue projects. Here are the starter components that they've come out with, which is actually a good amount. And you might be wondering, well, is it easy to implement? Does it take over my styles? Does it take over my JavaScript? I want to try out the switch, the toggle, to give us a shot, and let's see how Headless UI works with React. So I'm going to go here, and basically we are going to have this switch toggle right here. Super, super cool, super, you would think easy to implement, right? And this is something we could implement ourselves, but do we want to write the JavaScript for this over and over again? Probably not. So let's go to code, and let's see. We have the switch component from Headless UI, and let me zoom in for you all. And basically here we have use state to say enabled and set enabled, and then down here we go ahead and just use the component, give it some props. And the cool thing about this is Tailwind says, you know what, you deal with the styles, we're not going to do the styles. If you're using something like Material UI or any of those sorts of UI library, JavaScript, React components, they will take over the styles. But here, Tailwind says, you know what, I'll let you handle all of that. So let's give this a shot. We're going to go down here to the installation, Headless UI/React, and I have a code sandbox here. And I'm going to open this up. And over here on the left, add dependency. Let me move my face. Add dependency, Headless UI/React right here. So we're adding it. I'm going to close that out. And now we should be able to say import switch from Headless at Headless UI React. And then down here, we should be able to use this switch like that. But I don't think that'll work yet. We have to read through the docs a little bit more. Let me zoom in further. I'll move my face back over. And let's go back to the docs. All right, so basic example, we have enabled, set enabled, and then our props that we have are going to be checked and on change. And then down here, we have a span here for, this is screen readers only. Very good for accessibility, something I think we'll avoid for this one. But here is our switch, right? And basically, we are going to style it based on the enabled variable, if it's on or off. Using a custom label, let's see what all this is. Ooh, look, we can use switch.group, switch.label, and do they have an example of that? I'm not sure. All right, that's all good. So let's make sure that we can get this working first. And then we'll kind of dig down below. But overall, I just wanted to try out a couple, well, one of these Headless UI components. So to start us off, checked, on change, set enable. So I'm going to copy both of these, switch back over, and let's say right here are our props. And it says enabled is not created. That's fine. We're going to go import use state from React. And then down here, we will create const. I'm not a big fan of enabled. I like doing is enabled. Maybe I'm just picky. Is enabled right here is equal to use state, and that's going to say false. So now that that's there, let's go over here and let's actually do span. Well, let's say enabled, and I am enabled. And then over here, let's say enabled, and I am not enabled, and I have to do that little right there. Oh, and it's is enabled. Come on, Chris. Right there, right there, right there. Is enabled. Set is enabled. All right, no more errors. Thank you. And let's do flex column here. And now let's do margin bottom of 10 just to get some spacing. Cool. So I am not enabled. You click it, it says I am enabled. So that's essentially everything that the switch component did for us. It lets us say checked or on change, and then everything else is our styling, is everything that we want to do. So if I go ahead and say right here, we won't do the same styles as what Headless UI did. Let's do a div right here, or sorry, a span, and we're going to say inside of this span, basically, I want the span to say if you are on, the entire thing is green. If you are not on, the entire thing is to the left. So let me think on how we want to do this. We want class name is going to be background white, rounded, and a shadow. And then let's go for padding of 2. And then let's do a span right here, class name. And this will be our switch. Class name right here, span. And what this is going to do is say, well, actually, let's set a width on this. Width is 48. All right, doesn't want to do that, but that's okay. I think it's because it's the flex box on the parent. So I'll wrap it in a div. We'll fix that. Maybe, not really. Oh, it's a span, so it has to be a block. Okay. And then let's give it a height of maybe 20. Cool. Now let's do height is full here. Width is maybe 24, half of that. And let's give this a block as well. And let's do a color. Let's go for background green at 500. And let's go for rounded corners. Okay. So that looks cool right there. What I want to do next is basically say, if you are on, go to the right and turn green. If you are off, go to the left and turn red. So what we're doing here is I'm going to turn this into ES6 backticks right here. And then this background green right here is going to be the difference. And also, we need to, all right, well, let's change the color real quick then. So I'm going to say right here, kind of like moving it to the back of the list right here. And we're going to say is enabled, then background green at 500, else background red at 500. Okay, so click that. I'm enabled, not enabled. All right, we're getting closer, right? But the cool thing is we didn't have to do too much of this logic. We're just worrying about styling, all because we brought in the switch component. Super cool. So to do this, I want this green to kind of push over to the right. How do we do that? We are going to say flex right here, and we are going to say justify end. And that'll switch it over to the right. So basically, I'm going to turn this one into an ES6 backtick as well. And over here, ES6 backtick. And then over here, justify end will only be is enabled, then it's justify end. Else, no justify. And I missed a bracket. All right, there we go. So now we have the ability to show this really cool switch with our Headless UI component. And all of it is really just using that component, adding in our own spans and our classes, but we could have done anything. Like I could have made this a smiley face and a sad face as far as switched on and switched off. All right, so how cool is that? We're able to build out this switch, and we brought in our own spans and our own styles thanks to Tailwind. So if we go back to the headlessui.dev site, you can do some things like a custom label, and they give you more than just the switch component. We have switch label, switch group, where we can style out a little bit more stuff, right? And then if we go down here, there is a way to add transitions to this. And what we can do is basically transition the switch knob on state change, and we are adding in transitions using our classic Tailwind classes. So let me go here. I'm going to add this right here. I'm not sure if this will work because we're using Flexbox, but let's go try over here. I'm just going to throw that in right there. Transform, transition, ease in, out, duration 200. It might not need to be on the child. I'm just going to throw it everywhere, see what happens. Yeah. So it looks like it's working there, but it's not transitioning the Flexbox position. So we would have to change it, maybe do like margin left, margin right, something like that. But like, let's see, transition. I think we could do it with like a translate X 50%, but I don't want to drag on this video for too much longer. I just really wanted to show off that the switch component is here. You use Tailwind to style. And if you go back to headlessui.dev, you can see all of the different components that you can mess around with. Click into it. You can see the demo of it and beautiful demos. And if you go down, you can see basic examples and how to use it. So that was just us diving into Headless UI. Congrats to the team for releasing this after so much work. It really looks amazing. I'll be adding it to all of my React Next.js projects. And thank you for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please like and subscribe below, and I'll see you in the next one.